question. So what I will be going over today is the following. First, the review topics I'll be going over. The exam objectives. So as I previously mentioned, you received the exam objectives document when you first joined this program. So then after I go over the exam objectives, what I'll do is open the line up to any questions you have from here moving forward in regards to training, the certification exam, what you can expect, and so on. So to talk a little bit about the certification exam before I begin here. So the exam is a 50 multiple choice question exam, and it's 50 minutes long, so more or less 1 minute per question. When you take the exam, you will be able to mark a question for later review if you want to skip it and then go back later. So, which is a really neat feature, and you'll find that in the practice exams that you take for this program too. So in order to get that voucher, you will finish the info sheet, the certification tutorial, Mastering QuickBooks Level 1, the 2009 course for QuickBooks, and then the 2 assessments which we've spoken about, 2011 and 2012. So upon completion of all of these, you'll receive an automated email with your voucher information. You'll then receive a follow-up email with information about the 3 practice tests. So when you create account through Certiport, you'll be able to associate your voucher to your account. Then you'll have access to 3 practice tests that very closely replicate the certification exam itself. Having taken the certification exam, I found this helpful because you more or less get 3 practice tries at the exam before you actually enter it the day of. Also with the practice exams, after you get a question right or wrong, you're able to see the different answers, why something is right, why something is wrong. So that helps in reviewing as well. Then going forward from there, once you've completed the practice test, you'll be able to contact the one-stop for a testing date and time. So let's launch into the exam objectives now. What I'll be doing is going over the 10 exam objective topics. So you'll be able to see this on my screen here. So the first thing in the exam objectives document is QuickBooks setup. This is 6% of the questions that are asked on the certification exam. So thinking about the percentages, I mentioned, it's a 50 multiple choice question exam. In order to pass the exam, you need a 700 out of 1,000. So each question is worth more or less 20 points in that scheme. So the first topic is QuickBooks setup. You will want to know what information is required before you set a QuickBooks file up. So in order to create a company through ExpressStart, you'll need to know basic information and general operations within the company. You will want to know how to start a new company data file in QuickBooks, how to keep the lists and preferences from an old file while removing transactions, how to customize the home page, and how to set up lists. So this includes customers, vendors, items, and so on. So understanding which names and items should appear on which lists. Topic number 2 is QuickBooks utilities and general product knowledge. This is 10% of the questions asked. You will want to know how to navigate or move around QuickBooks using the home page, menus, icon bar, etc., how to back up and restore a data file, how to determine the release number and how to update QuickBooks, how to use QuickBooks in single-user and multi-user mode, what versions and editions of QuickBooks are available for a specific year, how to password protect QuickBooks by going to Company, Setup Users, and how and why to use preferences in QuickBooks. Item number 3 is list management. You will want to know how to manage lists. This includes customers, vendors, items, etc. List management includes adding new entries, deleting entries, editing entries, and merging entries. So remember, when you merge a list entry, you'll rename the entry to merge it into specific lists, and you'll refer to pages 30 to 32 of the Day 1 manual. Will help you out with this. Topic number 4 is items. This is 8% of the questions asked. You will want to know how QuickBooks uses items to perform necessary accounting entries, the different types of items and when to use each type. For this, I referred to Chapter 5, page 48 in the Day 1 manual. How to use items for different types of scenarios. This includes companies that sell products for a specified price, services for a specified price, unique products or services that have different prices for each sale, or one service or product. Item number 5 is sales. This is 10% of the questions asked. You'll want to know the 5 ways to record sales. So this includes invoicing, sales receipts, statement charges, deposits, and through a QuickBooks compatible program such as Excel or Peachtree. You'll want to know who should be listed in the Customer Center, how to navigate and use the Customer Center, how to complete the workflow from sale to making the deposit for invoicing or sales receipts. Again, invoicing, you will invoice when someone does not pay at the time of sale, and the sales receipt is for when someone does pay at the time of sale. You'll want to know how QuickBooks uses the undeposited funds, accounts receivable, and checking accounts in the invoicing cycle, how and why to record a customer credit, how and why to create statements, and how to handle bounce checks. So that's if someone sends you a bad check. Item number 6 is purchases. So this is 10% of the questions asked. You'll want to know who should be listed in the vendor center. So again, a vendor is anyone you pay. So this can mean subcontractors, utility company, your landlord, tax agencies, suppliers, and so on. How to navigate and use the customer center, the different workflows for making purchases, so including entering and paying bills, writing checks, using a credit card, and using a debit card, how to record the transactions in the purchase workflows, how and why to record a vendor credit, how to complete the inventory workflow from purchase order to payment, how to set up, collect, and pay sales tax, and bank reconciliation. So topic number 7 is payroll. This is 12% of the questions asked. Having gone through the assessments as well as the practice tests, I noticed that payroll for myself was something I struggled with. So I was sure to refer to Day 2, Chapter 5 in the Day 2 manual to review payroll and make sure I really understood this topic. So you will want to know the differences between payroll services available through QuickBooks, so that's basic, enhanced, assisted, and direct, how to set up payroll, including employees, federal and state taxes, and basic payroll reductions using the Payroll Setup Wizard, how to set up an employee's earnings and sick or vacation time, how to track sick or vacation time, including accruing hours and using banked hours, how and why to set up payroll schedules, how to run payroll, how and why to run payroll liabilities, how to prepare a payroll form such as 941 and W-2 in QuickBooks, and how to track time and use it for payroll or for invoicing customers. So topic number 8 is reports. This is 16% of the questions asked, so about 8 questions will be on this topic. Knowing this, I was sure to go through and review reports and the different topics because this is the majority of the questions that are asked topic-wise. You will want to know how and why to use the Report Center, how to customize reports, including report modifications, collapsing, sub-accounts, and so on, using the Customize Report button, the basic question that each report answers, so a basic understanding of each report, how and why to process multiple reports, how and why to send reports to Excel, how to memorize reports, so to adding a memorized report group or clicking Memorize within a report. So topic number 9 is basic accounting. This is 10% of the questions asked, approximately 5 questions. You will want to know what the basic financial statements are and have a basic understanding of what they mean. The difference between cash and accrual reports. So remember that accrual-based accounting recognizes expenses and income in the period that they have occurred, regardless if payment has actually occurred. Cash basis does not recognize items until they've actually been paid. You'll want to know how and why to set a closing date in QuickBooks and how to enter a journal entry if asked to do so by an accountant. You don't need to fully understand what accounts to debit or credit. So again, this is if an accountant has you do this. Lastly, topic number 10 is customization and saving time and shortcuts, which is 12% of the questions. You'll want to know how and why to memorize transactions, how to set up multiple users and what level of access can be granted or denied, and how and why to create custom fields. So this includes customers, vendors, and employees. So at this point, this concludes the brief overview of the exam objectives. what I'm going to do is open the line up to answer any questions you have going forward from here. So if anyone has any questions, you are welcome to speak up now.
Was there something on our screen we were supposed to be following you with?
Yes. Did it? Oh, goodness. All right. So
no, I saw nothing.
Okay. Let me see here. So it's just the different topics that I'd gone over. Let me make sure you have it here.
Am I the only one that wasn't connected?
I saw it. This is Joyce.
Mary Ellen saw it.
Kay saw it.
Okay.
Okay, it just might not have gone forward for you, but again, what I'm doing is I'm recording this session, so you're going to be able to, access this afterwards, and all this program was a review of the exam objectives document that I had, sent out to you previously. So.
I have a quick question. This is Joyce. How long does it find out when you pass the Prove It test?
Okay, so with the Prove It, you should be able to find out within probably a 5 or so minute period. So what I'm going to actually do in a moment here, so for those of you who are taking Prove It, I'm going to show you how you can take a look at the different topics that basically are a report of the Prove It and the different topics. So you're able to see what score you get. I'm logging into my account quickly here.
Is there a way, should I relaunch this? Because I'm not connecting. I'm not into the meeting session.
Well, it's okay. Can I ask who's speaking? Is this Diane?
This is Diane, yeah.
Diane, it's not a problem. I'm recording this, so you'll be able to view. And then right now, this is just open Q&A. So again, you'll be able to see the recorded version of this. I'm just going to kind of go through a step-by-step of how you get to the report of how you had done in the assessment, but you'll be able to see this in your My Plan too. So when you complete a Prove It, basically what happens at the end, it will say that you've completed it. Click Exit to continue. So you'll click Exit. When you return to your My Plan, which is, of course, where you launched the activity from, you will, it should be fairly instantaneous, actually. I'd say 5 minutes tops, be able to see the score that you got on your Prove It exam. So the way that I would recommend, if you do want to see the different questions that you got wrong, what you're able to do is you can see a report through Prove It to see the different questions, if you got them correct or incorrect, as well as the general topic area that they're in. So kind of briefly speaking about the Prove It, I've let everyone know I did not pass the 2012 the first time I took it. I failed by a couple points, which was frustrating. But what I was able to do is then go in, take a look at the report, see which areas I struggled in, including payroll, as I'd mentioned, and do that. So if you want to be taken to a link of the Prove It exam results, what you can do is you can click on the name of the activity in your Metrics Learning account. So click on QuickBooks Pro 2012 or QuickBooks Pro 2011. All the way at the bottom of the screen, there's a link next to Detail Results. What this will do is bring you to Prove It site. It will show you the different areas in the Prove It exam, as I mentioned, the topics and how you scored in each topic. So I'm going to give this a moment to load. All right, so while this is loading, again, you're just going to go to your My Plan, and then that will give you the chance to take a look at the activity, see what you got, and the different sections. So just that link at the bottom of the page.
So basically, if you go to the main screen, you had that listed all the courses, and there's a red X, that means you failed it?
Yes, if there's a red X, it means you failed, and then if there's a green check mark, it means you passed.
Okay.
So looking at these reports again was really helpful for me moving forward. But so that information will be available in your My Plan.
This is Gay.
Sure. Hi.
Hi. That link that you have that you just showed us at the bottom of the page. Now, will that list the question and the correct answer and the one that you chose that's wrong?
No, it does not give that much detail. Even Prove It isn't really able to tell you the answers that you got for those questions, but what it does show you is the different topic areas.
Yeah, that's what I saw on a different way when you go in through the graph. The little graph icon on the same line as the Prove It test or the Prove It assessment. If you go in through the little graph, it'll show you the same thing, I think, and it just doesn't give much information. So I don't know really what the question was or what I need to do differently next time. That's what my concern was.
Yeah, and then what I did with that is, I went back into the activity. I'm going to bring up the graph so we can see what, okay, this is Prove It's page, which is going slow right now. So again, it doesn't break down the question and the answer and things like that, but what I then did was I went back into the topic. Once, we'll recognize that you've passed once you've passed, so you're able to go back in and review the different topics. And that way, with the multiple choice, and this goes for the exam too, what's good about multiple choice is you can kind of, figure out what the answer is based upon, reasoning. So
okay,
it's helpful that way too. But
alrighty.
All right, this is not loading right now, naturally. So, all right. Does anyone have any questions about, I guess, oh, we have a question, sorry.
Well, it's less of a question and more of another experience when after taking the tests. I did figure out, at least on my computer, that in order to see if I had passed or failed, I basically had to sign out and then sign back in to allow it to refresh. And then once I signed back in through the whole thing is when I saw if I'd passed or failed, and I could go to those little icons and, do what you were suggesting.
I had the same experience.
Okay.
Yes, and that's just, the refresh that you would have to do for it to record. Actually, as far as Prove It's are pretty instantaneous. Skillsoft is, we say 3 to 4 hours for the course, but either refreshing or logging out, as you'd mentioned, Mary Ellen, can help you do that.
Okay, I wasn't aware till, Mary Ellen again, I wasn't aware till you just mentioned that there's a way to actually go in and see the topic stuff. So I guess I'll give it a try, but seeing you're having trouble getting in, I'm guessing we probably all will.
It could be my internet over here too, any given thing. But yes, so when you click on that link, it will give you the different topics, which I think you'll find helpful.
One thing I did notice, and I guess, maybe this is constructive criticism for the next time around, even though in all the literature and everything they go through in these sessions, they kind of gloss over the whole accounting, things like debits and credits and, trial balances versus general ledgers. And yes, I understand this is an accounting class and that you obviously need some working knowledge of that, but me personally, I think they should spend more time in that area, because in both tests I took, I counted 5 or 6 questions on that, and I certainly was not clear on some of those very specific differences that they asked the questions.
And going off of that, I mentioned this to you previously too, the training for the Mastering QuickBooks and the Prove It assessments, that is 2 different training providers. So while they are on the same version, some of the questions differ. Going off of that, you won't have any questions on the general ledger or the lead center. That was the second one that wasn't on the exam. But there are differences, and for myself personally, I did not have a good deal of experience with QuickBooks. I do not have a background in accounting. So, with some concepts, I would have to kind of look things up, make sure that I got them. I just, quick Google search or through QuickBooks support, which I know I mentioned previously, but I then went on to pass the certification exam. So, that is very helpful going forward in regards to the training from our different providers. So thank you for that. But just understand that there are differences, between the product providers. So that kind of explains the differences between the trainings.
This is Gay. I have a question.
Sure.
In the 2012 assessment, there was a question about non-posting purchase order. And that's something that I didn't recall even seeing anything about that or hearing anything about it. But can you explain that? Or is that something that we need to know?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look into that question, see exactly what it asked, and then I can refer you to where that would be in the manual.
Okay, that'd be great.
Because I'm not sure what, the 4 answers and things like that were. So was it, you said 2012?
Yes, 2012 assessment.
Okay, so I will follow up with you on that,
Okay.
just so I can see exactly what that topic was.
Okay, but you said we don't really need to review the lead information center too much?
Correct. That was not on my exam
Okay.
as far as the lead center, so you're set with that.
All right, because I'm sure I missed a couple of those on that assessment. I think I got them wrong because I couldn't remember that either. So okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I don't think that is one topic, the lead center, that I don't remember being in the Mastering QuickBooks, so that tripped me up too. But again, I didn't have that question on my exam, so you should be set.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Gay, on that non-posting thing, I'm right there with you. I had the same problem when I looked at that question, but I did find when I went back into the section on vendors, I actually found that I had taken notes about that, a very brief note, but enough of a note that it was the answer to the question. It's, as I said to Valerie in an email that I sent her, in some of that training, they glossed over very quickly some of these issues, and then they asked a very specific question about them. So, I guess you have to kind of take several tests or something to really figure out what they're going to concentrate on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I'll brush up on it in the vendor section then.
Yes, I'm just trying to bring up, I'm in the manual right now. Which area that would be in. Hold on. So I'm seeing here in the Day 1 manual is what you'll want to refer to.
Day 1. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I guess at this point, that concludes everything I have on my end here. I know that everyone, more or less is at different points due to the technical difficulties, which, again, we'll work with you through. Does anyone have any further questions in regards to the exam, what you can expect?
I do have one question because on both exams, this is Mary Ellen again, I personally did not pass by a lot. And is there any purpose served in retaking the exams to improve your scores? Or should we just keep trying to take all these exams and then, kind of figure out where our weaknesses are just on our own and go back and try to spend more time reviewing that particular section?
Well, honestly, my recommendation going forward from here is, since you've passed all the prove-its, I would recommend that you go toward the certification, so taking those 3 practice tests that we had sent to you. In addition, when everyone receives the practice tests, I also sent a document along with those that's 100 QuickBooks practice questions with answers. So you'll have the interactive 3 Certiport practice tests in addition to those that go off of. I found it really helpful in explaining concepts. And then also the exam objectives, which we went over today. So I'd say, moving forward today, I'd continue moving forward and kind of focusing on those exam-specific things.
Okay, so your time is better spent focusing on taking the new tests and reviewing that 100-question thing.
That's my personal, yes. You're welcome to do whatever you want, but those different resources, I think you'll find, and I found that they more directly replicate the types of questions you're going to get because they're from Certiport and they're Certiport practice questions. So.
Okay, well, thanks for including that. I guess I hadn't noticed that on that email that you sent.
Yep, it's a document that's attached, so you'll be able to see it.
Great.
This is Gay. I have another question.
Sure.
Do I need to notify you when I pass the 2012 assessment?
Nope. What will happen is you'll receive an automated email. So we'll be notified, and then you'll get that. Following up with that, we'll send the 3 practice tests.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anything else from anyone else?
Is this the last time we speak with you, Val? I mean, now we're kind of floating around out there on our own now, huh?
Well, this is the last time that we're all on the line together because this is the final review, but, you know, we're here to answer any questions that you have in between now and testing and beyond. So as a group, yes, but on a personal level, no.
Okay, so we can still email you and do stuff like that if we're running into problems?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time this morning. You know, and for your patience and understanding. We're looking forward to helping you get toward this next step of certification, and we will be in contact.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Thanks.